All right, what's going on, hunters? That's right, we're calling you hunters. So if you want to become a hunter, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Today we're going to be talking about Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Keep in mind this is from the perspective of somebody who did not play the first game. There were a lot of references, and it felt very much so like a direct sequel to the first game. But I don't think that detracts from the experience. If you've never played Warhammer 40k Space Marine, the first one, you could still play this and have a perfectly fine time. The gameplay that you're seeing is from some streams that we've been doing. We've worked through all the difficulties. I've maxed out the bulwark. I've done a decent amount of the PvP. We've cleared almost all the operations on Ruthless at this point. We're working on leveling some other classes and things. So I think I've got a pretty decent idea of kind of a general census. So I wanted to do a little bit of a talking point and a review and try a little bit of a different format here. So we're going to start with the campaign. Now, again, I didn't play the first game, so there was a lot of references and things that I would not understand. But I will say it intrigued me to want to play the first game. I was going to play the first game before this came out, but the prices skyrocketed on that, and people are talking about getting it for like single digits amounts of money. So recommended not to buy that because it's like full price right now, which is just kind of nuts. So it is what it is. Maybe I'll catch it on sale. I've also never played the tabletop game. I've looked into like some Sigmar stuff, and I know a little bit about the lore, so I kind of had a little bit of an idea going into it, kind of what to expect and what I was looking at. And this has done exactly what I wanted it to, and it has fully sold me on kind of 40k, and I want to get more into it almost. Not a big book reader, but I do want to get the tabletop game or something. But the story as a whole, while relatively short, was pretty interesting. It felt like it moved at like 1,000,000 miles per hour. Nothing really got a lot of time to like simmer, if that makes sense. Moved very quickly. But, you know, this is a smaller studio making a kind of AAA feeling title. So, you know, I'll give it a little bit of an excuse there because they are a small team. World War Z was relatively small. This is definitely a big improvement on World War Z, in my opinion, which we also played with the same crew of people. But overall, I enjoyed the story. There's a lot of really badass set pieces, some really cool stuff in there. There's cinematics that are like, look like they're kind of in-engine. And then there's these big budget looking cinematics that look fantastic. So overall, the story was really good. I'm not going to give anything away on that front, but definitely worth playing. And while you're trying to learn the game, we were struggling. Okay, we were getting messed up, but you start learning all the intricacies as you go, especially with your class. The class perk trees and stuff do ramp up quite a bit for like operations and things. And you're kind of limited in the story because you're stuck with the same 3 people. But you know, you still get used to your kits and stuff. But in between, we were doing the operations that corresponded with the story. So if you look at it that way, the story is like kind of twice as long. You're just seeing different aspects of the story from a different perspective. So basically, you have the main story here, and then as Titus is doing things here, you have operations running in tandem with them. So Titus would send people to do these things over here, and that's what the operations are. So while Titus is doing something, you know, these other strike teams are off accomplishing these other goals as part of like a broader mission. So we would play the operations that related to the story, and then we'd play the story. So we got a little bit more out of it than maybe you would have. But once we finished the story, we went full into just grinding out operations. And we're all pretty decent at games. I've never been a big parry player, but I will say as I've leveled up the bulwark and got the fencing sword and all the perks that have to do with parrying, I really, really enjoyed playing bulwark in this game. It's super, super satisfying. We hit a pretty hard difficulty wall with our perks. We were trying to go into it a little earlier than we were recommended to. But once you get your perks and stuff leveled up, moving into the higher level operations is really satisfying. And there was this threshold, which I'll explain it. So there's a point where the next difficulty is very difficult and really satisfying. So like you can get through them, but you really have to, like, you're locked in. And then once you like level up your weapon, you get more mastery points, you get more perks and so on. they kind of become trivial in a sense. So like that difficulty that was very, very difficult, like really plateaus. So I've really enjoyed leveling up the other classes because you're going back down in some of these difficulties and hitting those thresholds again. Like right now on Assault, we're struggling because I only have like the top row of perks for Assault. So the perks make a huge difference. I'm really looking forward to the next difficulty when that comes out. So that'll be good. But yeah, the difficulty satisfying, the class progression satisfying, the team playing is satisfying. Some of the classes seem more useful than others, of course, but all in all, the operations gameplay is a big, big plus for me. I will say having only 6 is a downer, but again, it's a smaller studio. It is what it is. They've already confirmed that more are coming, new enemies are coming, classes are probably coming. So it is what it is. It does suck that it is a $60 game. I would have liked it more for maybe like a $45 experience. But again, with it being a smaller studio, the product that was given to us, I'm fine giving them the 60. Moving to PvP, I've also really enjoyed the PvP. It is very frustrating at first, and you just pay attention to the levels when you queue, especially if you're like trying to figure it out. If you go to quick match and you see that you're against a team full of like a bunch of higher levels, probably just cancel and requeue. I've done that a couple times, like trying different classes, because you're just gonna get smashed and it's not fun. The PvP is a whole different progression loop, kind of. So like you have a separate level, so you're unlocking all the weapons and stuff for those characters. It's not related in any way other than cosmetics, but you only get progress for winning. But you can make some pretty quick progress if you're proficient at PvPing on your cosmetics, which is cool. But the class play and the balance and stuff for the PvP cosmetics is also very satisfying. Or the PvP cosmetics, just the PvP balance in general with the classes. They all seem pretty good at different things. Obviously, there's some bigger standouts. Heavies, especially if there's 2 of them and they're proficient at what they're doing, are really good. I'm starting to learn some kind of funny things with Assault, and I'm really enjoying that. Bulwark didn't seem all that great in PvP. Maybe I was just missing the mark. But Bulwark, I didn't really care. I haven't played anything else so far in PvP. I've just been playing Bulwark and Assault, and I've been playing against a lot of heavies. The grapple, I know they changed. That was really frustrating at first, but that something about the stun got tweaked. And they did a big patch already that addressed a bunch of different things, a bunch of good balance changes. Ultra wide support, which seems incredibly buggy. I didn't have any crash, any problems with anything. And then this ultra wide support patch came out and I've crashed 3 times in just today alone. I crashed once yesterday. So that kind of sucks. I'm sure they'll get that fixed. I am on an AMD card, but you know, that remains to be seen. I didn't have any issues, oddly enough, the day of the patch. I don't think it just came afterwards, but maybe that's not the case. But all in all, Space Marine 2 has been fantastic. I really am looking forward to some of the new stuff that comes out. I know they've talked about the Apothecary as a class, which again, I don't know anything about 40k. It sounds like a healing class because healing is a little weird. Sometimes it's really satisfying, sometimes it's really frustrating. But all in all, it's been a really positive experience. There's some frustrations like the healing and some of the melee exchanges with like getting like this knockback loop, and there's a couple things, but all in all, is way more satisfying than it isn't. And if you like just kind of hack and slash type of experiences, I would definitely give it a shot because it's really, really fun. And then you're sporting like a smaller studio, and I hope they really continue to iterate on it. And given that this is way bigger than World War Z ever was, I'm hoping we get even bigger support from them. They seem to be fairly confident going forward, so I guess we'll see. But that's going to do it for this one. If you want to be a hunter, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate y'all being here. I will see you on the next one. Bye.